Morning class, Coach Day. Today's notes are going to go over factoring trinomials. We're going to focus on when the a value, when this value in front of x squared is greater than 1. So when a is greater than 1, you need to look for a GCF or greatest common factor and then factor using the x method. So let's change, let's look at this first one and do it together. Now, what we can do, you can use the s or that, or you can write it as x. It's your preference. I'm just going to leave it as s. And we need to factor this out. Well, first, let's find the greatest common factor. Now, I've got a 1, I've got a negative 13, and I've got a positive 30. Well, the only factors of 1 is obviously 1 times 1, right? The only factors of 30 are that would have in common with 1 is just 1 times 30. So that's 30, and when we factor 13, it's just 1 times 13. So the only thing they had in common was the 1. Now, if that confused you, you can always go to your calculator, turn it on, go to math, go over 1 to number, go down to number 9 that says GCD, push enter, and type in your numbers. You can only go 2 at a time. Well, 1, comma, negative 13, type that in, push enter. Excuse me, let's try that again. Let's try that without the negative. 1 and 13, the greatest common denominator is 1. Greatest common factor is 1. And we got a factor of 1, so whatever we get as our common factor in the first group, we're going to use this again. So math, number 9, 1, now, and 30, we get a GCD of just 1. So our greatest common factor is just going to be 1. There's nothing else we can divide out of all those values. So we're going to leave all these values the same. We're going to set up our x, and we're going to factor it. Remember, the top of the x is going to be a times c. So 1 times, let's label our a, b, and c. So c is 30, b is negative 13, and a is 1. So 1 times 30, which is 30. Now, our bottom goes the b value, which is just negative 13. So both of these, we're going to put these factors, they're going to be over a, which our a value is 1. And now let's factor it out. So let's take 30. We need to get all the factors, the ones that add up to negative 13. So we've got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10. 4 doesn't go in there, 5 does go in there 6 times. And then when we try 6, we already have it. Now, they need to add up to a negative 13. Remember, a negative times a negative is a positive, so both of these are going to be negative. So I'm going to change them all to negatives and then add them. Negative 1 to negative 30 is negative 31. This one's negative 17, negative 13, negative 11. So those are the factors I want. Negative 3 and negative 10. Now, on some of these fractions today, they will reduce, but negative 3 over 1, that's in simplest terms. Negative 10 over 1, that's in simplest terms. The bottom number gets our letter, and then the top number, the number with our letter always goes first. So this is going to be 1s minus 3 and 1s minus 10. Now, if you want to check your answer, you can take these values, you can do FOIL, and you can multiply it out. So we're going to do that on this first one. Remember, FOIL, it's just double distribute. So this times this, 1s times 1s is 1s squared. This times this, 1s times negative 10 is negative 10s. Negative 3 times negative 1, times positive 1 is negative 3s. Negative 3 times negative 10 is positive 30. When I combine my like terms, negative 10 and negative 3, I get negative 13. Bring everything down. And that is what I started with, so I know I just checked my answer. Alright, I'm going to stop the video here. We're going to continue in the next one.